about quite a bit today. But we'll start off just saying hello, uh, making sure that you're in the right place and kicking things off. So I'm Stephanie. I'm the founder and creative director of Moxie. I'm like motion. I have motion in my head of Moxie. And we are a brand agency that supports startup founders, particularly in CPG and tech, to create scroll stopping stories and to really build true community. And MJ is with us as well. She is head of business development, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hey guys, so I'm MJ Allen. I am head of biz dev and partnerships here at Moxie AI. Really quick, just in terms of background, I've worked with a couple of other early stage startups, coming off of a role in biz dev with Group Black, which is a platform that is basically helping to bridge the gap between Black owners of different web platforms to get them funding dollars with brands. I know I kind of screwed that up. I also worked with another early stage company called eStreamly, which is a shoppable live video platform. So my jam is definitely business development and early stage startup companies. And that's it for me.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to hop right into things because we have a lot to cover today. So this is part of our event series, virtual event series that we've been having, particularly aimed at startups and CMOs of growing businesses. And today we're talking through how to turbocharge your creative team with AI. There are a lot of tools out there, and we want to make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to really have really effective creative teams. And so, one of the things that I want to start by talking about, actually, I'll go back for a second and make sure that you're in the right place. So, um, I want to make sure that you're in the right place. First, do you have a creative team that you run at a startup or a growing business? If so, you're in the right place. Are you curious about AI? Or are you overwhelmed with the amount of content that you need to create and manage today? I've been in marketing for over 10 years, and the demand has grown like crazy in terms of how much we have to produce, how much we have to understand. And so part of this series is really breaking it down so that CMOs and startup founders can really have tangible things that they can do next. And then the last one is, do you like making dope-ish? Because we do. And so we are always trying to empower other founders to do the same. So I want to start by just talking about how to restructure your team potentially for efficiency in an AI powered world. These tools allow us to do a lot more things than we might have been previously able to do. And so when you're starting to infuse more AI driven technology into your process, it's good to reevaluate also how your team functions. And one of those things that we use at our company is something called Motion, which is incredible. And we have a guest today named Harry that is the co-founder of Motion. And what we really use that for is to get every team member to be incredible with time management. This is my version of what it does, but you'll hear more directly from Harry. But my experience of Motion is really that it equips every person on your team, especially if you have teams that have different structures. So imagine if you have a contractor or you have a part-time worker and then you have full-time, it helps to really be able to tell how much does each person have on their calendar, how much do they need to have, and then it automatically will reassign tasks into the right place and time slots based on their availability. So I find that to be really helpful, especially having teams that are performing different functions but also have different schedules. It's super helpful to have the entire team be able to manage their flow and their calendar with their availability in an automated way. So that's one of the things that we use that we think is really helpful, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. Another thing is that you really want someone who is hyper focused on automation and data analysis. Something that I've been researching quite a bit, but we'll also be talking more about the rest of this month, is the evolving role of CMOs. There's been a lot of shakeups at large companies where they are either getting rid of their CMOs or they are changing the functionality of what the CMO role actually covers. And a big part of that is because there's been a lot of difficulty with marketers to be able to really demonstrate what they're executing and the ROI on their department and their budget. And so having someone on the marketing team that is hyper focused on automation and data analysis is super helpful. And there are lots of AI driven tools that can help them do that in even more effective ways. And then the last one here in terms of restructuring is outsourcing marketing services for cost efficiency and expertise. You can have an entire marketing team that exists that covers, the basics of data analysis, design, strategy, all of these different functions. But having that entire team full time is pretty expensive. Working with the agency is really one of the ways that you can mitigate those costs, but still also be able to leverage the talent of a group of people who are experts in their individual fields. So I just wanted to kind of talk through that. We're actually going to transition now to a conversation with MJ and with Harry about motion and how startups and companies can use that tool in order to have more efficiency on their teams. So I'm going to switch over to that now.
Hey, Harry, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, before we hop in, I want to read your bio that you sent over to me just to give our audience a little bit more of an understanding with regards to your background and things of that nature. So, I'll hop right in. So, Harry Q, he's a co founder and CEO of Motion. Harry grew up in Beijing and went to high school in San Diego with one of his two co founders, Omid. He doubled major in computer science and math at Dartmouth, where he met his other co founder, Ethan. After graduation, Harry worked as a quant trader for 2 years in Chicago before starting Motion with both Ethan and Omid and went through the Y Combinator. And it looks like you were a part of the Winter 2020 batch. Motion grew quickly and raised a Series A in 2022, counting investors including Signalfire, Michael Siebel, and Sam Altman. Motion is a 30-person team today with a fast-growing user base. So, Harry, before we jump in, how are you on this great Monday morning or great afternoon?
I'm good. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. First, on behalf of Moxie, we definitely thank you for joining us. And I would love to just hop right in because I want to know what is the why behind the motion productivity platform.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously, I'm happy to talk about yeah, how it came about to be Motion and also like what our product does. Um, and also, I'm happy like we have an internal marketing team as well. So I'm happy to share not just how we internally use sorry, not just how we internally use Motion, but also I'm happy to share like other like or answer any questions with regards to like how we use software other than Motion to
Mm,
help with our marketing functionality and creative teams. Um, so like how Motion came out to be is really um when we first started as a team of like three. This was actually like in 2019 before we started Motion. When we first started working together, Omid and I, we struggle really hard at like coordinating and communicating who's doing what. We find ourselves spending like half an hour in the morning and night, like figuring like just like coordinating. Oh, who's doing what today? Who got what done today? And also like making sure, hey, I'm doing this part now. The next person's doing this part next. We used a bunch of project management softwares, but none is actually like what we realized is typical project management softwares like like I'm sure all marketing teams use one, right? The traditional softwares, they are really good at just like helping you dump your to-do list in there. But
mm,
what we realize is project management is two parts, right? It's like it's about what you need to do, and the second part is like what are your constraints, right? It's like how much time does your team have, how much capacity does your team actually have next month in order to take on additional work from your clients? Do you need to hire more team members? Is someone going to be on leave for the last 2 weeks next month so that they can't take any client work, right? You need that like visibility into the future of capacity planning before you take on more projects and your team gets so underwater with it. And also for you to like now have to waste time on figuring out who's doing what this week, what's the progress update on this thing, like coordinating between, oh, did you get that done so that I can start on this thing which your thing blocks. So that's how Motion came to start. And I think Stephanie gave a great intro about like what Motion does today and what are its value propositions. It basically automatically help each person on the team figure out exactly what they need to do each day in order to meet all the deadlines from their clients and to have that visibility into capacity into the future.
Got it. Got it. So, really quick, how does your productivity platform leverage AI to enhance the creative process for functional teams, especially those that are involved in the design and innovation process? If that makes
Cool.
sense.
Yeah, so there are two. I'll answer that question in two parts. One is how does Motion, the software, use AI, our LLMs? But also, I think like what the audience might be even more curious about is how we as a company actually use AI to make our product and marketing and creative team so much better. So the former is we like you can like we ingest data. And the way we ingest data is you can like forward an email to Motion. You can like chat with your phone or like a personal assistant, tell Siri, hey, Motion, do this. I need to get this done. Or like, client sent you some task or email, you can just forward to Motion. And the Motion uses basically LLMs to figure out, when is this task due? Like what should be its priority, and then automatically figure out who should do that task at what time. Um, how our product marketing creative team actually internally use Motion might be even more interesting. So we get a ton of user feedback, right? Like we get hundreds of users writing in like request feedback every single day. So we get like tens of thousands of those a month, and there's no way for a human to parse through them. And what we do is we use an LLM to parse through them to basically tell us, hey, what are the top things the users are requesting? What are the top bugs? And then we use that information to figure out what to do in future sprints. On the marketing creative side, we use LLM to write SEO articles first. Well, not all. Like you can't just let it write it for you, and then you just like it can do a decent first draft for you. So what it's really good at is getting a good, decent first draft done, and then what we do is like we use that draft and like we basically like actually before it spits out first draft, you have to do your own research about like okay, like what keyword are you writing about, what topic or do you want to write about, what's your unique value in this article, right? Like all the things that humans can do that LLMs don't do very well. It's like okay, you got your critical points in there, and then you tell hey, go get a first draft for me. That draft isn't going to be good enough to get published like online, but then the human comes in and then like edit it and then like put it out again. So you will find like a lot of our internal processes is very much human in the loop, but utilizing LLM to do all the shitty work.
Got it. Got it. My next question would be, can you share examples of how AI within your platform provides actionable insights or suggestions to creative teams, aiding in either the decision making or the ideation process?
I think our software itself doesn't help much with ideation. I think our software itself is a automated project management tool, right? So the insights it can give you is, hey, like do you have more capacity to take on more clients in 3 months, right? Or in 2 months? Is this team member overwhelmed? Are they actually gonna meet all the deadlines from all the work that multiple teams are assigning them? Like we provide visibility into that to help you decide whether you need to hire more contractors or employees to help you decide, hey, this client wants you to get this project done by next Thursday. Can you actually get it done? So we basically like provide insights like that. Um, in terms of the creative process, it's very similar to how like I explained how our SEO articles work. It's very much like sometimes we ask LLMs, hey, like, what are interesting. It's basically like LLM can help you with idea generation, and then it might give you a list of like 50 ideas, and then five of them are very useful, and you take them. So so yeah, that's how I think like I think maybe many people have used Jasper. I think Jasper is a pretty solid tool.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
What are some other like AI tools that your team uses, especially going from a three-person team, 2019 to now 30 people, right? And we're talking, less than 4 years. So what are some great tools that you guys have implemented and that you're currently using to help scale your team to that level?
Yeah, one of the biggest ones is probably AI customer support, which is because we serve a lot of customers, and like we do still have like everything is human in the loop, and we have a lot of like human agents as well to help with support. But there are a lot of very simple like support questions that AI can just figure out. So we have an AI software we use the AI software to basically do that first round of response to users. And it's generally pretty good because users are asking like, hey, how do I add an account? Hey, how do I connect calendar? Hey, like, like how do I do this? There's very simple things that we have answered like hundreds of times. So AIs are very good at that. So that helps scale our support functionality. Yeah, like growth for marketing, like I said, right? You no longer need people to write first draft of articles. You still need to do like the front, the research, and then the editing and all of that. But that does save a lot of human work. Also, give like ask LLM to give you like ideas on what to write about or what to like if you're talking about creatives, right? Like what like giving you ideas about hey, what to try out. um, I have heard of people doing this. We haven't tried this ourselves, but with all those like image and video generation AI tools, I've heard of people just using those to generate like really good creatives. And obviously, there are tools like Photo Room, etc., to help you remove backgrounds for creatives. So and to help you just make creatives better. So in terms of creatives creation, that's probably what else do we use in AI? I think that's the main ones. We also have in-house tools that can parse like user feedback and giving us like summarize because no human can read through tens of thousands of feature requests, feedback from users. Uh, and I guess like smaller things like Zoom note taker, like a Zoom summary, like AI transcript, AI summary, etc.
Got it. Got it. And my very last question for you is what problem are you solving in 2024 that versus what you would be thinking of in the future, say 3 years from now? So what does that look like?
In terms of product or business,
I would say in terms of the product.
got it. I think right now Motion is very focused on like shorter term planning, like over the next like maybe like 4 to 8 weeks, to help each like you optimize or automate, to basically help you automate project management within like the next 4 to 8 weeks. Motion isn't very good at helping you plan out for like the 6 month, 12-month terms. That's the first thing. The second thing Motion isn't good at yet right now is having a lot more automation, almost like some of you might use Zapier, like having a lot more automation into like triggering, oh, if this happens just automatically do like another thing and maybe another app. Motion isn't that great at like integrating with all sorts of other softwares. I think a big thing Motion or LLMs aren't great yet that I think in a couple of years will be really good at is hopefully in a couple years you can talk to Motion like each person having their own personal assistant,
Mm,
and basically be like, hey, I want to get this done, I want to shuffle this around, hey, I'm out to pick up my my kids like tomorrow afternoon, like go reshuffle this, and basically motion just can understand everything as a personal assistant, and basically enable every team and every team member to have their own personal assistant. I think that's where motion is going. That will require more advancement from OpenAI and other players. So hopefully they can build like better, stronger models. But I see in a few years of like motion more trending toward that true personal assistant direction.
Got it. Awesome. All right. That is my last question. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you think we should know or our audience should know regarding AI?
No, I think I covered everything we internally use at motion as well. So yeah, happy to answer any questions. But yeah, that's everything. Hope that was useful.
Yes, very much so. Again, we thank you, Harry, for joining us. And listen, personally, we love motion. We've been using it for quite some time, and it helps get the job done. That's all I can say. Like, I'm that
Appreciate it.
productivity person, so I absolutely love what you guys have built over at Motion. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Yes, thank you so much, Harry, for joining us. That was excellent. I am going to keep talking now about how to actually upskill your team with AI. So, one of the resources that we'll actually put in the replay, but there's actually a series of free courses at MIT for people to learn how AI works, like from the very beginning to getting into more specifics and being, deeper into the topic. So there's a YouTube series from MIT on AI that I highly recommend. Another thing you can do to upskill your team is actually really help getting the knowledge that they have into a custom GPT. I've been talking about these quite a bit lately, and that's been mainly because I just think that they're so valuable, and I really see intelligence as a service as being a really important thing for pretty much every company moving forward. So imagine creating your own. I'm just going to describe custom GPTs in case anybody doesn't know. Imagine creating your own, really, it's almost like a more informed Google search based on your company's expertise and thinking about all of the questions that your audience will have. And you may have more than one audience, but thinking about the questions that your audience would have related to your expertise, and then creating a custom GPT in order for them to have access to that. And that can be done in a lot of different ways. It can be something that's free, that's just an additional service that helps you stand out. It could be something that's paid, but I think that that's something that you can like glean from your marketing team, particularly when it comes to product marketing, because product marketing's focus is really on helping your customers understand your product better so that they get the full value out of it. So a custom GPT, I think, is an excellent way to take your team's skills and then upskill them by helping them get their knowledge into this database that becomes a really useful tool for your team. The third is shifting everything towards personalization. As much as you can think of what would a person want that's more personalized, you want to be creating that. And there's tons of AI tools. We've mentioned them in past sessions that actually help you personalize everything from like when you're on a website, if you're looking at a blog, that the blog is actually customized to what this person's preferences are, to your ads, to product recommendations, all of that can be very personalized. And then the last one is really big because a lot of people actually don't do this, or they just don't want to, or they feel like some type of angst about it. But don't forget to actually build your own personal brand and upskill yourself. So as you're learning, you can create resources to help other people learn the same thing you're learning. Like right now, I'm learning about custom GPTs. I'm learning about how to make that happen. And then I'm bringing that to you. And then I'm bringing in other experts that really know what they're talking about and have done these things that I'm learning about for the first time and bringing that to my audience. So don't forget to build out your own personal brand on social media, build your own email list, like do that work, because that will only help your brand go into more spaces. Okay, so I'm going to hop over to another thing I want to talk about, which is really reporting on wins. One of the things that I mentioned earlier in this session was about the evolving role of the CMO. There have been a lot of turnover. There's been a lot of turnover in the CMO world recently, where big companies are moving on from that role in the C-suite, and a lot of that has to do with reporting wins and being able to communicate that in a way that is effective. Something I posted just on Instagram earlier today. Only 10% of CEOs have ever been a marketer. And that's a really important stat, because that means that this expertise that you may have, they don't have. So you have to be able to communicate that in a way that really translates. And on the same tip, if you're a CEO that's not a marketer and you're listening to this, it's like being able to communicate, what do you need to see in order to feel like this is effective, and putting that responsibility on your marketer to say, hey, I need to know, this needs to translate for me. So you need to give me a dashboard or something where I can really see what's the ROI on this investment that I'm making in this department or with these projects. And so there's a couple of tools on that. One is reporting on customer sentiment with AI. That's a really dope thing to be able to do, to like get a snapshot of how your customers feeling about what you're up to. In fact, Harry mentioned something similar to that when he was talking about how many responses and requests that they're getting on a daily basis from their customers. Like, how do you actually ingest all of that and make rational decisions? He talked about using AI in order to do that, and that's something you could do as well. The other thing is reprioritizing first party data. So in up until now, basically most companies were getting their data on their customers through all the different data sources, but particularly through third-party data, which will be captured in cookies and different things like that, where you're actually getting the information on where have they been, where are they going, what are their behaviors, what do they like. All of that information will be coming from other sources, but there's a huge movement right now to move away from that. So if you're building a tech product or anything really, and you're looking to leverage that data, I think that data is going to become less and less available over time. So what you need to be really good at is actually getting first-party data from your audience. And getting first party data, all that really means is that you're asking people directly and they're giving you the answers, versus you getting that information on them from other platforms. And in order to do first party data well, you have to have a relationship. Because why am I going to take the time to give you this information? Why do I care? And then do it in fun ways as well. So it doesn't always have to be in what feels like a really flat survey. I talked about Formless in a prior session. Formless is a software that allows you to do surveys, but it's AI driven and it's much more interactive. And also they can ask questions back to the survey because the AI is trained on your company. And so that's a really cool way. Other ways of getting first party data is like, aside from it feeling like a static, survey, which you can do, giveaways and things like that to get that kind of information, but also making it fun, like quizzes and different things like that is really a first party collection way, first party data collection method that can feel like a fun game, but actually you're getting the information you need from them. So get creative about that and start thinking about that. But again, you'll have to build relationship with your customers in order to get the data that you need moving forward. And then the last one is aligning your management. If you're a CMO, aligning the CEO on your North Star metric. And then if you're a CEO and you're looking for a marketer, understanding what is the thing that I need to know the most. So some of the things that, CEOs of the companies that have let go of their CMOs recently are saying that they need to know, like, really, what is the ROI on this whole entire marketing budget. And then also things like as we're introducing new technology, because everybody's introducing AI into everything right now, understanding what's the ROI on this enhanced MarTech software that maybe you've purchased. Like, is this actually changing anything? Is this moving the needle? And that really helps to get those baseline metrics prior to implementing that software and then being and reporting on that. At the end of the day, people know, the marketers often know whether things are moving in the right direction or not, but there's a gap often with marketers' ability to translate that to the other C-suite executives. And so focusing on getting that done right is really something that can create stability in the marketing career. So I'm going to pause there and see if we have any questions or if MJ has some questions for me. I'm going to go back here.
Yeah. So no, I think you did a great job really breaking down team wins, like how to implement AI in terms of even showing individuals motion, right? And having Harry on and talking about how we use that internally as our team to get things done. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can drop them below. And while we wait for questions, we can, let's see if anything comes through. I don't have anything on my side. But I can briefly just share with you guys. I know you have another screen coming up, but stuff she mentioned that, this changing role of the CMO. And we have decided to do something really dope for next month. We're going to bring on two special guests to really talk about the CMO role. One will bring her expertise into play in terms of like her current role, what it looks like now, how she's navigating the waters, and the other one will bring her expertise in terms of what it looks like to be a fractional employee. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard about the fractional role or the fractional CMO, but this is a person that would dedicate a certain amount of hours per week or per month for a particular company, where they would give their expertise to that company. And it may be split where they are more hands-on, or if they're in that visionary role where they provide you with more of the strategy behind, as if you were to have on a full-time CMO. So that is something that we do have in place for next month at the end of March. And I'm actually going to drop the link right now where you can actually register. So the title of it is The Evolving Role of the CMO. And you want to make sure that you go ahead and get registered for that next event because like I said, these special guests, they're dope women. They're going to provide us with some guidance, especially with, startups, the early stages of figuring out how we can navigate the waters of the role of the CMO. So
Yeah, and even if you're a startup CEO, because our audience is full of a lot of those, I think it's really important to be looking for marketers that are thinking about this evolution of the role. So we'll be talking about that quite a bit, just really KPI driven conversations around what does effective marketing reporting look like is a huge part of what we'll be talking through. So I'm going to also switch over to let's talk about your goals.
all right. So yes, we want to talk about your goals for 2024. Understand we're still in the first quarter, right? So we want to make sure that you are empowering your creative team to hit those goals. I'm pretty sure you've probably reverse engineer your top goals, but you want to make sure that you're breaking them down and you're hitting them quarter by quarter, month by month, week by week. So one of the things that we've decided to do here at Moxie AI is we currently offer two different packages. So we have a branding package where if you, as a startup, need assistance with getting your brand together, designing of the website, and things of that nature. We have a package that can take care of those needs. And then we also have our full service package where we would basically run your social media for you. So that would be weekly, daily posting for you. It would be helping to create blog posts for you and things of that nature to drive your audience to your website, your landing pages, or other things that you may have offered into with your company. And so with that, we are offering for the next 14 days, 10% off of these different packages. So you have the ability, if you're kicking off a project where you're just getting started and you want to have someone come in at the very beginning stages to help you flesh out that brand story and get your branding together and also create your website, take advantage of that brand package. On the other side, if you need extra hands, because we are here, Steph being our creative director, me working the biz dev side and the partnership side, we are here to help you to make sure that, again, you're able to get in front of your audience with your message and get them to actually and eventually buy from you, right? So again, we're offering that 10% discount on either of those packages. So you want to take advantage of that. Before you can do that, though, you want to chat with me. So I'm going to drop a link so that you can, and this is my motion link, so that you can schedule some time to chat with me, either 15, 30 minutes. You can get on my calendar and we'll talk about your goals, before, just in that discovery call, before we can talk about the packages. So again, schedule some time with me, and I'll be happy to help bring some type of solution to your problem.
I remember to unmute that time. We are making progress. Um, so we like to keep things fun and light with all of our events. Half the time I'm in hoodies and usually in a room that looks like I'm inside the club. I got a baby here today that's sleeping and taking a nap, which was perfectly timed. And I'm very proud of that. And so I'm in a different room. But the point is, we all doing what we got to do. And so we want to support you doing what you got to do too. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks again to Harry for joining us today from Motion. Really appreciate that. It's an excellent product. We used it for months before we brought him on. So we really did vet that. And thank you, MJ, as always, for being with me and going on this journey with me as well. All right, guys. Well, until next time, we will send a replay of this event and we'll also add any relevant links that we mentioned as well. If you have not, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Moxie AI, and also book that meeting with MJ. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.